Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi to Allah wa barakatuhu. I was born Terrence Emmanuel Williams. My Islamic attribute is Abdul Qawi. I come into Islam in 1995 in Temperman, Orleans Parish Jail. I remember a guy, his jaw was broke. He had a plastic thing, back in the day we get your jaw broke, they had that plastic thing hanging out on the outside. He was a Muslim. And I remember him teaching me to follow him in the prayer. I was following him in the prayer. I remember going to a Jumu'ah one time. Um, then I went to do my state bid in 95, 96. While I was doing my state bid, I didn't hear the greetings. I didn't get any literature. I didn't get a Quran. I didn't know what was what. I remember going in the gym in the prison, and it was a Muslim brother in there. He was going in, and I remember it was about 50, 60 brothers in the gym. And I heard the brother say, "Take beer." The brother was like, "Allahu Akbar." And I jumped, "What's going on up in here?" So, but he was the Imam, he was going off on another particular person. But after that, I didn't get no more. I didn't get in the literature. I still didn't hear the greetings and none of this. I go home in '96. I was hanging in the project, sitting on the porch, and I seen a guy coming to the courtyard with a suit, coming up the street with a suit. So we all got up, ran inside. He knocked on the door. We wouldn't answer. Then one day he came in knocking hard, like a Jehovah's Witness be coming to your house. I opened the door. "What's up, man?" He said, "Man, I need to talk to you, brother." We started talking. Tall brother too. He invited me to the mosque on Diamond in New Orleans. I went to the mosque. They pat me down, took my lighter, took certain stuff out. I couldn't go upstairs with certain stuff. I went up there. I remember sitting on I remember sitting on one side, all the men, and then the women were on one side. And I was checking. I was like, okay, I like this. Then there was some young guys up there going in, just spitting, going. I was like, man, yeah, I like this. So the guy come back and took me for a ride one day. He was like, "Man, you better jump on board now before it's too late." So me being a street guy at the time, I got offended. Like, "What you trying to say? Like you threatening me? Like I'm like, well, he was like, no. He was explaining to me about different stuff about Islam. So, but he was in the Nation of Islam, and when '98, when I went to the Fed, one of my homeboys, he's deceased now. He was the minister, so quite naturally, he's from my city. He the minister of the Nation. I'm familiar with what's going on with the Nation of Islam, so I was, NOI with them. FYI, um, it would be times, man. It would be for Ramadan. We'd be in front of Chow Hall, waiting to go in, to break the fast. And it'd be like maybe sometimes be like 3 to 5, because in prison it's rare you're gonna see 10, 15, 20 Native Islam. They try to keep that to a minimum. They try to, maybe them pins you might get a lot of them, but they try to break them down because they be going in on the white man. So it'd be like 80 to 100 at this particular prison, Mariana back then, standing in front of y'all, and I'd be looking at these guys with these big beards, high water pants, and be like, man, they want to be like them Arabs in another country. And I just be had my knife on me. I wanted to go to war with them because I was like, we right and they wrong. So, but it was real cool guys, the Sunni Muslims, and I know I to talk to some of them and stuff, but that Nation Islam, it just was clean, which would be crack, black, and exact. Had your little pen on your little pad to write down your notes, whatever, something go on. And one time, we were at the microwave cooking some food. Brother Grant, 3 brothers from the Sunni community pull up on him, and they had the Quran in their hand, and they showed him something in the Quran, and he shook his head. Yeah, he agreed with what they said, and then they walked off. So I said, what they were telling me what that was. He's like, don't worry about that. All right, soldiering, standing up on post. General number 9. I still remember that. About I can't really get it. I don't want to mess it up. But don't let somebody act a nuisance on or around your post. Then you had there's a lot of other uh, rules we had to learn. But it wasn't until the storm hit Mariana in 2004 we were pushed to USP McQuarrie, and USP McQuarrie, um, I had wrote my letter to get the X in Chicago. I mailed it out. I never received nothing back. So one day I was walking in the corridor by the chapel, and I would see this brother named Abdul Watsi, and I would greet him. He would greet me back. I see him again, I would greet him. He would greet me back. But then there would be times when I would see him, and I'd be like, let me see if he gonna greet me first. He would never initiate the greeting. I was like, who you think he is? You think he arrogant and cocky? So we both worked in the chapel. And I was sitting watching a little TV. One day he was sitting watching a little TV. And there was some guys down in the corner watching the TV. It was this tape. It was this Christian guy. He was structured like the Nation of Islam, with the women on one side, men on one side. The women, had a hijab on and everything. And it was a brother from the Sunni community. He got up, he opened up, he sat down, and then the guy from the Christian community had a debate with the guys in the Nation of Islam. And he was doing a number on him. I'm talking about he was going in. And so I told the Sunni, I was like, hey, you hear that? He's like, man, I got more stuff than that. I was like, oh, word? Let me hear it. We go to the locker room. He pulled out Islam and Farrakhanism. And he was showing how Islam talks about the 5 pillars and the 6 articles of faith, talk about the hellfire. Nation of Islam don't believe in the hellfire. And he was just showing me different stuff, what the Sunni Muslim believe in, what the Nation of Islam believe in, and was going through. I said, man, I want to take my Shahada. And I took my Shahada right there again. I said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. It got around the whole compound. Because while I was on the compound, like we call fishing, like we should, like when we have events or something in the Nation of Islam, we used to be out and come on, and brothers used to come in, people, because you gotta keep in mind, a lot of people upset with the judge, upset with the prosecutor, upset with the agent, upset with certain white people in general. So, when the Nation of Islam have a function, they love it because it's like it's gonna be targeting the white folks. So I remember brothers were like, brother, you can't let no white or woman come visit. And I was like, what? Boy, I got life in 20 years. Man, listen, ain't everybody come and visit me, man. You tripping. So, then when we used to be in the chapel, they had these prayer rugs, right? So I'm in the Nation, still in the Nation. I'm going to go back to where I was still in the Nation at the time. So one of the guys come over from the Sunni to get the rug, and something happened with the rug. We were trying to trade rugs and mix it. He was like, oh, no, we can't pray on that rug because y'all been. I'm like, what do you mean we can't? Man, listen, the minister Farrakhan, the baddest man in the United States. He goes to the other countries, and he come back, he telling people, I'll talk to y'all when I get ready. And this. So I'm like, man, they tripping. So one day I was listening to the minister Farrakhan, and his exact words were, don't worship me. He say, what y'all gonna do when I'm dead and gone? And it hit me. I was like, whoa, he got a good point. What we gonna do when he dead and gone? So I started doing my studying and research. And I always tell people, back in the day, in them 50s, 60s, early 70s, we needed that Nation of Islam because a lot of the white people that racism was going on, they had a lot of blacks thinking that they wasn't nothing. I mean, it's still in the Constitution now, They don't have us written for us. I think it's like every 7 years they vote for, every 25 years for us to have our rights or something to that effect. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone. But I know they had us being 3/4 or 1/3 something, or human or some stuff they had. I used to know all that stuff back then because the Nation used to teach us a lot of that. But as I'm going on in my journey, when I took the Shahada, it got all over the jail. So it was this guy that was he was in a more science. He was a more science temple. He's followed Noble Drew Ali. And I had come to the corridor to go to chow. There was a lot of the brothers greet me, Sunni Muslim was happy that I done took Shahada, was kicking it. And he was like, hey, gangster. I'm like, what's up? He said, man, I need to talk to you. He come down there in front of all the brother. He said, man, what's this? I hear you took your Shahada. I said, yeah. He said, how you gonna lead the nation of Islam, man? It's the black man religion, man. Man, you confused. And he turned around and stomped off. I said, hey. I say, you in the more science, right? He said, yeah. I said, well, why you ain't the nation of Islam, the black man? Apparently you confused. And everybody in the thing started laughing at him. That man never spoke to me again. So as I would learn and study, I would catch the guys in the Nation of Islam that I was with, and I would, hey, this and beat up on them. So one of the brothers, big bro, he had taught me the alphabets, the Arabic alphabets. He was like, come here. Abdul Kawi, I was like, what's up? He said, stop that. He said, because at one time you was in that same state. He said, it's 3 prongs to the 7 ridges. He said, you got to have knowledge. He said, you got to have knowledge what you're talking about. He said, you got to be gentle how you give it to them. And you got to be patient to see how they receive it. He said, because you could be right, but you being arrogant and cocky and this, you miss out on the blessing. I was like, okay. So from there, I just started studying and researching, studying. And now within the Islamic community, you got different branches. It's going back to them 70-something sects that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke about. And the Sahaba say, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you say that all would be in hellfire except for one, and who is that? And the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the ones that follow the Quran and my Sunnah. So I started doing a lot of studying. Then you still have Sunni Muslims, you have Shiite, you have Sufis, you have Nation Islam, you have more science, and you have other different sets. Then you have the madhabs, the 4 schools of thought, which is up on the Sunnah. The thing that confused me at first was you had the brothers that followed the Maliki madhab, you had the brothers that followed the Hanafi madhab, you had the brothers that followed the Shafi'i madhab, you had the brothers that followed the Hanafi madhab. Did I say? Oh, the Hanbali madhab, excuse me. And if you have 3 brothers that follow the Hanafi madhab, 3 brothers that follow the Shafi'i madhab, 3 brothers that follow the Hanbali madhab, they're all going to get together and pray. But we all be in, one room praying together, but they're going to be by each other. So it's like, they section themselves off. And I learned with the Shafi'i madhab, the way they sit. So I was like, okay, that's when I know that at the end of the prayer or something, the way they sit. And I just kept reading and studying. Brothers took the time with me, but I used to ask a lot of questions, like, Akhi, why we salam out like this? Akhi, why we do that? Every time they say, oh, here come the little baby, ready to eat you. Here comes the little baby. I wanted to know. So it's a word dalil, prison would be like, I know how you feel, but where's your dalil? Because, brothers will say one thing, but man, they've been heard from this person, this, and this, and you don't have no proof on that stuff. So you have to bring your proof in Islam. So the brothers, I read in the Quran, I want to say Surah 5, Ayat 3, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, this day I perfected your religion for you and have chosen for you Islam. So I was like, okay, right here he's showing this day I perfected your religion for you. And he said he chose Islam. So it's perfect. We don't need to add nothing. We don't need to subtract nothing. And he also says in the Quran, whatever the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam give you, take it. Whatever he tell you stay away from, you stay away from it. So in my journey, I just reading and studying, and it just helped me a lot. It helped me become humble. It helped me to respect the next person. I still, get a little rowdy at times, but for the most part, you're not going to see me with the cussing, this acting straight ignorant. Islam has done a lot for me. Has really, really, really helped me. And inshallah, I'll die upon Islam. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Surely to Allah we come, and surely to Allah we shall return. But over the years, I've learned that there are a lot of different ways, fiqh issues, where people hold their hands. And I see brothers get into a lot of arguments about that. And then I was like, you know what? If this comes from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, these are small, minor issues. We need to stop arguing and bickering about those issues, because the deen is vast. It's all over the world. So you got brothers that are going to pray with their hands to their side. Brothers going to pray with their hands under their navel. Brothers going to pray with their hands here. Brothers going to pray with their hands here. Alhamdulillah. Get the salat in. My main thing is the Aqidah, the correct Aqidah, believing in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you have the right Aqidah, and everything else gonna ride smoothly. There were a few more issues I wanted to touch on, but I would say this. In Islam, because people been asking me about to do a video on how I became Muslim, or this, and this. Umar, radiallahu anhu, one of the Sahabas, he said the hadith where he said that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that there are 5 pillars. The first one is Shahada. Second is praying 5 times a day, mandatory. Third, fasting during the month of Ramadan. Fourth, paying zakat. The fifth, going to Mecca, to Hajj, if you can afford to do so at least once in your lifetime. I smile because I almost fumbled the ball. I almost like, whoa, what are they? But then you have the 6 articles of faith. Now that's why I might fumble the ball. Inshallah, I'm about to try. I know the 6 articles of faith. You must believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You must believe in all his angels, all his books, all his prophets. We must believe in the qadr of Allah, the divine decree. Whatever Allah allowed, whatever happened is by the will of Allah. In Islam, we don't believe in good luck or bad luck. And number 6 is believing in hellfire. You must believe in the hellfire, that not hellfire on earth and all the other slick semantic words that we like to play with. So 5 pillars of Islam, 6 articles of faith. Once you study those, you believe wholeheartedly in those. When I say believing in all the prophets and messengers, we talk about Jesus alayhi salam, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, everybody. We must believe in all of those. We believe in all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala books. The ones that came in the correct form, not the ones that's been changed and moved around and this, and this to fit man way. We must believe in all the authentic books. And I just love the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose me to be Muslim. And thank you all for your time. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.